It's time to finally make that glue pin. Hey guys, it's LJ here. Welcome back to another Squdge craft video. So today we're going to be making, yes we are, we're going to be making some pin charms. Ooh. There we go, some pin charms. So this is my favourite one. That is the first one that I made. So it's got purple beads on and it's got the little spoon charm because, you know, spoony for life. And so what these are, most glues that have a fine point get a pin. Your pin stays in it, it stops it getting clogged, it stops everything else. And so usually you'll just have your pin like this, it goes in and out of your bottle, problem solved. But there is a real risk of losing said pin. And I know this for a fact because when I do my Twitch streams, check me out on Twitch, all the links will be in the description. When I do my Twitch streams, we have a notification, a command that reminds everyone to remind me to put the pin back in the bottle, because it's so easy to lose these tiny things when you have lots of stuff on your desk. So when it's in your bottle, it's fine because it's there. You got it, that's not a problem. But when it's on your desk and you've got paper and you've got your glue bottle and you've got, I don't know, something else, it's pretty easy to lose it. Well, at least it is for me. So I wanted to have a couple of these to use. So there are a couple of ways you can attach things to your pin. You could put a jump ring on and like clip it to the pin somehow. That's meh. The way that I found the best is earrings. Earring backs. So I have this type of earring back, which is a clear acrylic one, or not acrylic at all, clear silicone one. Or I have this, which is a different shape of clear acrylic one, or the standard butterfly earring back. The one you get on the majority of earrings. And again, it just slides onto the pin and sits there nicely like so. The nice thing about this is, as you can see, there are two loops. In my original pin, I created this dangle charm, and all I did was put the pin through that top loop and then slide on the clear back. And that has secured that at the top. So you've got the pin, you've got the jump ring, you've got the clear backing. And that clear backing holds the charm in place at the top. Okay? But as I said, the butterfly has two holes. So what I did was, this time I created a dangly charm with a lobster clasp on top. So the lobster clasp is the one like on a standard necklace that opens out like this to clip on. So I created the dangly charm. I put some turquoise and some purple beads, a ruler and a pen cup. And all I do is open the clip and clip it on to one side of the butterfly. So now I have the charm attached to one side, but I have a spare side. So I made myself a second charm. Exactly the same way with the lobster clasp on top. Same beads. And this one has a paperclip charm and a pencil. And then all I'm going to do is use the clip and attach it to the opposite side. So now they're both attached, and this pin has a lot of charms on it. And when it sits inside the bottle, still the same way, we put the pin into the fine point tip, and now I have charms that hang either side. And the best thing about this one I keep making myself smile, because when you spin it, hold on, when you spin it, why are you not doing it? You get the windmill type look. I'm so easily pleased. So yeah, here are two examples. One with the butterfly. Come on. One with the butterfly clip and one with the clear acrylic thing. So now that you've seen two of them, we're going to make one together to give you an idea of just how simple it is to make these. So I'm going to pop that one back in my glue for now. I'm going to bring over my tray of equipment and we're going to make something using some black beads, some red beads and a little witch's hat charms. So to create this, you're going to want some tools. Okay, the first and most important thing you're going to need is a pair of these pliers. These are called flat-nosed pliers, or ones like I've got that go to a very fine point are called needle nose pliers. These are great. The surfaces are flat, which makes it really easy for you to do things using this, and you get a really nice effect from it. So that's the first set of tweezers that I have. I also have, but you do not need, a pair of round nosed pliers. So if I put these next to each other, hopefully you can see the different shapes at the top. These will help you make a nice round shape if you need to make a new jump ring, for example, or you want to finish off a pin. There are those. There are other tools in my toolkit that you do not need. You may need some wire cutters if you want to cut things down, but they're not essential. You can use, you know, scissors, things like that. Okay, the other thing I have that is an absolute godsend is this ring. Now, this ring is brilliant. So can you see it's got a very thin hole, quite a thick hole. I then turn it around and it's got two other holes. Now all four gaps, if I put it like that, there you go, you can see all four gaps are different sizes, and those help you with different sized wires and can replace your second set of pliers. So I pop this on my finger. I'm going to pull my glove down a smidgen. I'm going to put this on my finger, and I want this thinnest section because that's the width of my pins. So I want that there, and that's going to help me to do what we're going to do. So I want to use this little witch's hat charm as the end of my piece. So that's going to go on the end of my dangle. And then I've just selected a few red and a few black beads, which are going to make up the dangle. Okay, I've got them here in this tray. This tray is felt. It has a felt covering and it's really good for using things with beads because they don't roll away as quickly. I'm just going to move that off to the side so it's not in the way, and we're going to get started. Now, for this particular one, I'm going to be using the other clear earring back that I have. Okay, so my pin, let me grab this pin to use for an example for today. I'm going to have my pin, same as before. I'm going to create the charm and then I'm going to push this end on. Okay, so for now we don't need the pin and we don't need the end, so I'm going to leave the pin in the glue bottle and we're going to get started. You can use a number of things. On these, for example, can you see I've got everything hanging off a strip of chain? So I have this pack of chain that I purchased. I'll put the links down in the description. It's just silver plated chain link, and I'm going to use some of that to help me attach the beads and the dangles. Okay, you can add other things. I have these which are called bead caps. Now bead caps basically sit next to your beads and can look quite pretty. I'll show you a really clear one, a really chunky one, so you can actually see it. Okay, so it's just a piece of metal, and what it is, when you get a bead, say for example I have this red bead on the wire, so I put this on my wire and then this just sits next to it to add a bit of decoration. There are big ones like this, and there are really tiny dainty ones like this one, which is much smaller and just literally sits over the tip of the bead. And these little flower ones are the ones I'm going to use today. The final thing you need to make the charms in the easiest way possible are some eye pins or head pins. So these are just little wire pins effectively. You can have an eye pin which has the loop already attached at one end, the other end is flat, or you can have a head pin which has a flat end. So it's just got a blunt end, so that stops things falling off. So when you add your bead on, it goes on and that end holds it in place. Okay, so you can use either of those. Here, as you can see, on the purple one I used the head pins, but here where I added the spoon I used a loop on the end to attach the spoon. So you can make your own, but for now we have purchased ones, and you might also want some jump rings to attach things if you need them. Okay, so first of all we're going to need some pins. So I'm going to get 4 head pins, the flat ones, and 1 eye pin with a loop on the end. We're going to make our charms. So the first one we're going to do is using our bead caps, and I changed my mind. I went for an even smaller bead cap, just so it can really show off the bead. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some charms using head pin, the bead caps and the beads. So the first thing I'm doing is threading on a bead cap. Then I'm going to add the red bead, and then I'm going to put the other bead cap on. So you can see it goes bead cap, bead, bead cap, and it will just really nicely frame that bead, as you can see. Now you can leave it like that, or you could do multiple beads, and I'm going to do both. So for this example, I'm going to add a black bead and then a red bead, so it goes red, black, red. Then we're going to put the bead cap back on, and there is your charm. Now I'm going to take the pliers, and right above that bead cap I'm going to bend the wire 90 degrees, and that will keep everything on. I'm going to make some more charms. I'm going to do another one which goes black, red, black, and then I'm going to do a single red and a single black. So I'm going to have 4 charms, 2 long ones and 2 short ones. So this has a loop on it already. Now you can open the loop several different ways. There are ways that will break it, there are ways that will save it. If you pull it apart, like if you have the pin here and you open it by pulling it like that, and then you try and push it closed again like that, if you then push it closed again, A, it's gone a very weird shape, and B, it's really weak. So if I do it wrong and I have to open it again, it snaps part of it off. We don't want to snap part of it off. We don't want to deform it completely. So rather than pulling it apart, we're going to twist it. So I'm going to find the gap. Right, you see there's a little gap here. I'm going to lift this piece up towards the camera. So I've turned it sideways. Like opening a door, I've turned it sideways. If I show you the two, can you see that it's twisted? This one has twisted out to the side, whereas this one I've just pulled sideways. You see the difference in size in the hole? By turning it like a key, you avoid weakening the metal. What I'm then going to do is, this witch hat has a loop on it. A lot of charms already have a loop. I'm just going to hook that on so it's attached. I've just interjoined the hoops like that. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is, so I'm just going to twist the loop closed. So now they are attached. That is firmly on to the hook. I'm then going to add some beads like so, and then so now I have this dangle as well. So I now have 4 plain dangles and 1 with the charm on. 4 plain and 1 with the charm. Now, when you've got to this point, this is too long to make a loop. So I'm going to use my wire cutters. You could use scissors. Wire cutters would be preferable, but if you have scissors, you can use scissors. Now you want to leave about the width of a finger. About the width of a finger. Okay, going to cut off the excess, and this is where I use my round nose pliers. You can use your normal pliers, but it is easier with round nose pliers. I'm going to grip the wire, turn it so that it has started to turn, come back in on the other side and continue that turn. And now I have created a loop. Sorry, it's focusing on the thing on the bottom. Now I've created that loop at the top. So my charm is complete. I'm going to do that on all of the others. So next we're going to need a length of chain. So as I said, I have this chain which is quite a fine chain link, and I have this one, which as you can see is a much larger chain link. And the larger the chain link pieces, the larger the actual individual pieces, the easier it's going to be to attach things with your jump rings. So I'm going to measure out a piece that's roughly the same size and cut it off. Again, all the links will be in the description. What I'm then going to do is grab some jump rings, grab my chain and grab my charms, and we're going to add them on. So I'm going to start with this one on the bottom. Now, these have a loop at the top, so I'm going to open the loop, thread the last piece of chain on, the end piece, and then as before, twist that loop closed. So now it is on the chain. Okay, so now my dangle is on the end of my chain, and then all I'm going to do is basically go, okay, where do I want these dangles? Kind of want them like that, so it's nicely adjusted, so you've got the long ones on the thing and then the smaller ones, and then I'm just going to clip them on. So leaving those there, take a jump ring. Jump rings are just small rings of wire. You can make your own, or you can buy them pre-made as I do. Grab a different one. So they are just little rings of wire. You can make your own or buy them pre-made. This is where my ring is going to come into play. So in the jump ring there is a small hole, very small hole, and rather than using 2 pliers, you could use 2 pliers to hold the jump ring and twist, because now it's open. Instead of using the 2 pliers, my ring works as a plier so that I can open my jump ring. So I'm going to use my ring. I'm then going to hook the charm onto the jump ring, bring up the chain, choose a loop. I'm going to go up to here, so I'm going to go not the one it's on, not that one, one above. I'm going to hook it on. So now everything is attached, and then I'm going to use my ring to close the jump ring. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to use the 2 sets of pliers to show you what I mean. So I have my jump ring in the pliers, 2 sets of pliers, you hold either side and twist it open like opening a door. So it is twisted open. I'm going to grab my next charm, hook that on, bring up the chain. Okay, this is where this charm is. I'm going to go up 1, 2 loops, hook it on, and then twist the jump ring closed. So now my chain has charms on like so. I'm going to attach these 2. I'm going to attach the smaller 2 and then I will come back to you. Okay, so now we have, if I hold from the top, we have our charms in place. What I'm going to do now is take my clear stopper, grab my pin. Right at the top of this, I have spare chain. I have a tiny bit of chain at the top. I'm going to put my pin through the first link at the top. I'm then going to attach the clear stopper, push that up, and now I have a witch hat black and red charm that's going to sit on my glue bottle. And it's as simple as that. You can make them any shape, any size, any length, any colour, whatever beads and charms you have, use, and you can attach them like so. Just to, mind you, you can do them a bit sparser. So this one I did longer ones, and I spaced things out a little bit more so they look a bit thinner. If you compare the two, you see this one looks a lot busier than this one, because this one has less on it and is longer, and this one is shorter and has more on it. So it depends completely on the look you want. But that is how I make my glue stopper pins. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed it, please give this video a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you have any questions, pop them down in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Keep crafting. Bye.